Hey everybody, what's going on in the world? This is Brett, your favorite YouTuber, sort of. I'm sure a few of you like me. So, you know, I've always thought, and it always made sense, that the more a person heals, probably the softer they get, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. And I think that's been the case for me continually more and more. Thank you. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Instead of being angry at the Trump administration, I've actually been kind of more sympathetic towards them lately, especially Donald Trump, because I don't think that he has a lot of time left on this planet. Sometimes I think that he genuinely cares about some things, but really I think that he's just become more and more mentally deranged. And see, that's what happens when you get sicker and sicker. You're just not thinking very well, you know. And his face is so ruddy, and his judgments are so poor, and his intelligence has been lacking a lot. And, as angry as a lot of people are, like Jimmy Kimmel, for instance, I think that Jimmy goes kind of too far sometimes and doesn't have that. He needs to get more of that empathy. I think it's difficult for him to see that at this point. A lot of people, it's difficult for them. But for me, I've been actually having empathy for even Donald Trump. I feel bad for Savannah Guthrie, her mother getting kidnapped. That's horrible. I lived in Tucson, Arizona, a long time ago. That was when I first became a massage therapist. I was right out of massage school the previous year. I just gotten my NCBTMB certification so that I could get state licensed. And I lived in Pagosa Springs, Colorado for 6 months, and then I moved down to Tucson for different reasons. And I got a little apartment, and I was trying to get by. I couldn't get a job at a spa because I was so new, I guess. And I did end up getting a job at a new spa for a very short period of time. I was so sore from being a new massage therapist. And anyways, Tucson is not the sweet place necessarily that they say it is. I mean, look at that one woman, Congressman, was it Gabby Giffords, shot? That was a long time ago. That was probably 15 years ago or something. But it's been a challenge. Hi, Christy. Did you get your pillow? So it's been a challenge um, for me to balance my participation in the world, which is hugely important for me. I know this because of just how I feel. I know this because of astrology and looking at my chart. Hi, Tamara. And I know that I'm an empath. I feel the pulse of the world. I feel the tension. And all of this is a challenge. You know, you have to take care of yourself, and at the same time, you're well wishing the world. And you have to flow with it, but you have to maintain an adequate stress level and realize that when you get too stressed over it, if you want, you can kill yourself over the whole thing. Yeah, gift and a burden. You can kill yourself over the whole thing, but as I was just telling Kaylin Robertson, it's either Roberts or Robertson, he's in Ukraine right now. He just made a video 4 hours ago. He's a really amazing young person with a lot of talent and a lot of balls. And I was just telling him on Patreon that he really needs to, right now especially, take care of himself because he doesn't have any electricity in the apartment that he's renting. He's in Kyiv right now. And it is cold in Kyiv right now, like serious, because we're not only are we having a cold winter, they're having a really cold winter. Many people there say it's like nothing they've seen before. And with no power in so many places. And he's trying to get to Kherson to do some reporting, you know. And his eyes, I mean, he's a person that has a lot of good genes. You know, you can see his teeth are unlike mine, perfect. His smile is like one of the best. He has some of the best teeth I have ever seen in my life. He looks kind of like that guy that the DOJ just arrested, the reporter. What's his name? Somebody write that down. And the black guy, the gay black guy with perfect teeth. Okay, so this kid, he is mentally as sharp as his teeth are perfect. and I am so proud to support him. Amongst other people, I've supported U-Animals as in an animal organization in Ukraine since the beginning of the war. And so, you know, that war is another thing that's really important to me to support. And Kaylin, I think he is English, but he is a serious warrior, that kid. He's only about, he might be 30. He might be 30. I don't think so, though. But he was grilling Steve Witkoff. He was the only person. He was at that conference. Think about this. Thank you, Tamara. He was at that conference in Switzerland, right? All the big wigs went there. He was invited to go there. And he was talking about how they were so afraid to confront anyone like this guy, Steve Witkoff. And of course, a lot of them enjoyed my little nickname, Steve Shitkoff. Wait, it was something else. Anyways, he actually confronted him on the street after one of those meetings because this guy supposedly has investments, real estate. He's another real estate person, right? Has investments in Russia. It's a conflict of interest. You know that him and Trump and this whoever else, the reason they're being soft on Russia is because they have money interests there. Okay? It's simple. It's not difficult to see. The freaks are cohorting with the freaks. The mafias here cohorting with the mafias there. And they're cutting a deal. It's the art of the deal. But the thing is that you have to see things from a deeper perspective. What we're going through right now is a big reveal. It's a big reveal of so many things. And I've told you this for a long time, but basically, anything that's extreme is getting exposed right now. Okay? We have Pluto new into Aquarius. And we have Saturn and Neptune getting closer and closer to conjunction soon in Aries. And all of this combined with other things, I'm sure. I'm not a really good astrologer. Really good astrologers can tell you a lot more. But it's obvious that it's a time of change. It's a big time of change. And don't be surprised to see all kinds of things rise to the surface. All kinds of things. It's mind-blowing. It's seriously mind-blowing. When I saw Jesse Wells over a year ago, it was last fall. It was right after Helene hit here, and we were all in peril, and we finally got our electricity back and our internet back and our water back. And I'm watching videos, right? And I see this guy, Jesse Wells. And I was like, oh my God, this guy is a savior. I just watched another one of his videos. He just put it out a little while ago. It's called The Kingdom Something is Within. The Kingdom is Within. After you get done watching me, go look that up. Go look up Jesse's video that he posted today and listen to the lyrics. Mind-blowing. So I looked him up, and he just had his first Saturn return. So Jesse Wells is 30. He just got through his first Saturn return. Last year, I got through my second. I'm 60. Saturn takes 28, 29 years to go all the way around the sun. And whenever it comes back to your original spot, it's called your Saturn return. And if you're lucky enough to live to 88 or so, then you'll get a third Saturn return. But the Saturn return is a heavy time in a person's life. And I was thinking that perhaps it's part of the reason why when you're 30, you settle down and they give you a car insurance rate discount. Because Jesse Wells just got through his first Saturn return. And after you get through one of these ordeals, it can be a life-changing event. So for me, I've still got to get through that 8th house, the 8th house of sex and death related to Scorpio. I still have Saturn in that, and I also have Neptune in that. And until those get out of there and get into Sag, I'm just going to be kind of in a deep learning phase where I'm kind of progressing and maturing in 8th house regards. Okay. But yeah, I've been doing so much. It's different than last year. I've been doing last year when I was right in the middle of the Saturn return. I was in such a heavy, heavy spiritual thing. And Helene hit in September of 2004. And at the end of September, and it was right in the middle of my second Saturn return. And I was just like, I spent so much time talking to God, so much time. And it was just, it's hard to describe exactly how it was. But many of you that have lived long enough, you can think back, whether you know anything about whether you know anything about astrology or not, you can think back in your life to times when it was heavy. If you can remember exactly when that was, the year and the month, and then you start learning, or you ask an astrologist and you go back, you can go on the internet and you can go on AstroSeek and start an account. And you can go back and look at that, and it's likely that you'll see like an aha moment. You're like, oh, no wonder that was a crazy time in my life. Right now is a crazy time in the world's life, in humanity's life. And I believe it's probable that the animals can feel it. Certainly, your domestic animals can feel it just from our own feelings and energy, etc. You know, but it's all needed. It all needed to come about. All of this needed to come because I just know, because for years I was saying to myself, when are things going to change? Things have got to change. Something has to happen. The only way things really change is when it hits the fan and it splatters all over the place. I've seen this, it's not just with an individual. It's with communities. It's with countries. It's with the whole world that things need to hit the fan. And when you know what hit in the fall of 2019, it's such it's still probably, we don't dare, with Trump as the president, we can dare say things about you know what 19 a lot more on YouTube than before when Biden was president, because the CDC is completely changed with Robert Kennedy. and so I could probably talk about it, but I'm still paranoid. I'm still paranoid to even say it, because it has voice recognition. It's comedic. But when that happened, that was the beginning. That was the beginning. And we had no idea. Perhaps when Trump became president in 2016, that also was probably an indicator. But when the you know what happened in 2019, that was definitely another big thing, because something like that, a plan, you know what, demic, when something like that happens and it affects the whole world, you know that's going to make anyone that's to the edge crack, and whole countries crack. And Russia, they decided that they would go for it, right? And there you go. It's like a domino effect. One thing leads to another. Remember that song? One thing leads to another. Who was that? Somebody write that down in the chat box. I know somebody's going to learn. The Fix. The Fix. One thing leads to another. But it's not like when I was, well, it's like when it was in the 60s, but worse, sort of. It's different. This is very different. That was just a Vietnam War thing. This is kind of like a big cumulative cloud of crap forcing everything to the surface. The Epstein files, everything. And everything is in the news. Imagine all of the people that are going through all of this what's right and what's wrong mentality. People that are guilty of being pedophiles, or people that are guilty of being greedy, people that are guilty of manipulating and lying. Like Trump, he's such the total revealer of scum. Everything that comes out of his mouth, like some of the stuff needed to be changed. So what he does is he looks for something that obviously needs to be addressed, something that obviously is wrong, like government overreach, too much bureaucracy, too many employees, all kinds of things. Like if the Democrats are not totally clean either, so if they're doing something wrong, they're lying about something or whatever, Bill Clinton's probably messing around or whatever, then he's looking to reveal all of that, because they've been talking about it on the right. They've been talking about it, all these different things, for years, decades, and government waste and all of that. And so he uses all that to his advantage, and then he manipulates stuff to get stuff his way. But like I've been telling you with health, if you don't have your priorities in order and you think that money is going to do it for you, well, how much longer do you think that he's going to be alive? I don't think so. He looks horrible. And I think that stress, like I told you in my last live video, is one of the worst things. And even though he kind of seems to be oblivious to it, he's not. No. Nobody's oblivious. Nobody could possibly just lie about stuff and manipulate stuff. I mean, it almost seems like he can do it without flinching, But you'd think that eventually he's going to be affected. And when people are affected by stress, then they overeat and they worry and they have acid indigestion, and the list goes on and on and on. And so, I mean, and if you're spending all of your time doing things other than your health, taking care of yourself, I doubt that even with all of his money, I doubt that he ever spends any on like massage or something of that nature. Does he eat organic food? Probably not, because it probably goes against his grain. He'd be like, if they told him that it was organic food, he probably wouldn't eat it. He'd refuse it. And so a person, when they get off of base like that, I mean, like I said, I've been feeling more sympathetic towards him. And but you see, when his ear was supposedly shot, I made a video talking about how if God creation had wanted him to get shot in the head, and even if you don't believe that that was real, regardless, if God had wanted Trump to die, then then it would have happened. But he didn't. He just wanted to get his ear shot. He just wanted to give him a little wake-up call. And then it happened twice. There was a guy in a tree at the golf course. And wasn't there something else? I can't remember. In any case, there's a purpose for him. And I don't think that he's going to be around very much longer because of his health, you know. And so I think that it could just be that he turns out to be kind of like the two people in Minneapolis, martyrs, you know. Big, important, hugely important for everyone to learn a lot of lessons, you know, what's right and what's wrong. They went, and Biden went, and he allowed millions and millions more illegal aliens so that he could get reelected, because he's probably, because you know they're going to vote, and they're not going to vote for Trump if they can possibly get a ballot out, you know. And so what did Trump go and do? Hired a crap load really fast of mercenary type hardcores, you know, heavy metal heads, and these people, they weren't vetted very well, and they were just really extremely angry punks. You know, he hired a bunch of angry punks, and didn't train them for very long, and then he puts them in an ultra liberal city, you know, all the ultra Portland as well. And I'm surprised he didn't bring any to Asheville. Maybe he did. But then, well, what's going to happen? You know, they're going out on the street. They're confronting people at gas stations. They're confronting people in restaurants, or anywhere they can meet their quota. And then there becomes this big, massive clash, you know, and a couple of people get killed by freaks, a couple of nut cases. A poor woman, Good, what's her first name? Renee Good. Guy just shot her right through the corner of the windshield. He didn't have to do that. That was such a... And those people, like I said in another video, they're not going to get away with... They don't get away with anything. They're not going to get away with that in this life, let alone in the afterlife. And even they're not going to get away with it in their minds. They have to live with knowing that they did that. How could you live with yourself? What is OPE? OPE. Yeah. Well, it helps me because I'm really alone here where I live, to get on here and talk with you guys and tell you what I'm thinking and feeling. And so, I mean, if you can find something online, and I know you're not exactly me, you know, with the ability to go on here and get people to come on your channel, but maybe you could find some kind of a group online. But I've been getting to where I'm probably going to go do some more social things. But I do all different kinds of things. Here's a little list of things on my wall. These are just 9 things that I wrote down one night. You could stop and look at that later. So I have so many different things. Oftentimes I'll just work, kind of tired of working right now. And I've been getting a lot better at checking in with myself to know what my needs are. And then asking, oh, and also I've been using AI, and I hadn't left iliopsoas tension. And when Helene hit, I was getting that chronic left iliopsoas tension. Your iliopsoas muscle it goes from the bottom of your spine down through your abdominal region and connects to your legs and helps you to be able to lift your legs up. It's your iliacus and your psoas, and they're combined muscles that help you to lift your knees up. And they pass next to your digestional system. And so when they're really tight, it causes digestional issues. And when you get digestional issues, you can have mental issues like migraines, okay? And stress. So I was getting this, once again, lately, I was getting this iliopsoas tension, especially on my left one, which goes past my, closer to your stomach and duodenum. And so I got on AI and I said, look up under Chinese medicine what they do for basically for iliopsoas tension. And I read all this stuff, and most of it I knew, but I needed to be reminded. Oftentimes, especially if we're stressed because of the world, because of your own stress, etc., you need to be told again things that you already know. Okay, so it gave me a lot of ideas, several of which I was able to just do. And what I did was I took that heat lamp right there and I clamped it onto the table right there. And I did abdominal massage with that heat lamp 14 inches away. And then I turned over and I did kidney massage, or kidney heat and massage. And I knew when I started using this Theracane, see, the front affects the back and the back affects the front. So that muscle is more kind of towards the front depending on where it's at. In the upper part, it's more towards the back. In the lower part, it's more towards the front. But I knew that it was tight. And I knew that the front affects the back affects the front. And so I knew that I probably had tension in those back muscles, those lumbar muscles back there, upper lumbars, lower thoracic muscles. And I started massaging back there, and I started giving that a lot of heat. And I'm probably going to do some self-massage with heat videos soon, because I knew it. I just heated the shit out of my whole abdominal region and massaged the shit out of it. And my low back and middle back, and then massaged the crap out of it with that. And the reason that I don't generally like to use that to massage my body is because I don't like to rub plastic deep into my skin, deep tissue massage. And on that note, I want to show you what I've made yesterday. I made a wooden Theracane, and it is going to be cool. It's outside on the back porch drying with a second coat of tung oil, but I can bring it in for just a sec and then put it back out. I just want to show it to you. Hey, Michael. Is that cool or what? So I just took this and I duplicated it. It's like a little window, huh? So I really like using that. So I kept that, but made it wood. So this piece, I cut that piece out with a jigsaw, but it could be made with a CNC machine. And I made the handle a little bit longer. And I made it thick, so there's no way in hell that it'll ever break. I rounded it off. I rounded the corners with a router. But this one's just for me. If I make one for sale, it'll have to have some kind of a different aspect to it, because the guy that owns this patent will sue my ass. If I make it the same, like this, and I start selling it, he would sue me. I already sell so many freaking things, I don't know if I even want to do it, but maybe I will. But it's a really cool thing. And see, you can rub these balls on your bod, and it's totally safe, because it's just wood. It's just wood, and it's got natural tung oil on it, like all my massage tools. So I'll get back a little bit and show it to you. But I can't wait till it's dry. I got to take it back outside because it's still drying. It's got a second coat of tung oil on it, and it stinks. So, a lot of things going on in my life, mostly good, some challenges, nothing that I've not been able to deal with, but sometimes it's not been easy. And I think loneliness is a hard part for me because I just live in a small town and it's not very progressive. And I'm not liked here by some people for different reasons. And I mean, that doesn't bother me because I know the reasons. I like me as long as you like yourself. It's all good, baby. But yeah, massage therapists don't generally like me here, I think, because I've tried to get an appointment to get a massage. Nobody ever calls me back. Thanks, Christy. I think it's going to be a really great tool. It feels really good in your hands. I'd like to make it rounder, but I need to buy a rounder bit, a rounder round over, they're called round over bit for my router to make it rounder on the corners. But it'll work fine as it is. But let's see. I've been having to get up. My muscles have been tightening up on me at night. And so I've been getting up at about like in the middle of the night to do some arm self-massage and or shoulder self-massage because my left fingers have been getting that, especially that thumb and those two fingers have been getting numb, like from the tension, tightness in my left arm. So if I get up for a half hour and massage it, then I can go back to bed. But that's one of the challenges I've been dealing with. And of course, the mental things. And I know that the mental things, it's kind of weird to accept and deal with mental things that are causing physical ailments. But if you're feeling tension from something that you're doing, mental tension, and then you're subsequently feeling physical tension, like for instance, you're spending too much time focusing on the world, on social media, worrying about this or that, engaging with this or that, then it's time to just stop. That's one of the things that I've been doing. You got to just stop and not do it, because it's partially not just because you're an empath. It's also because you're somewhat addicted to the polarity. One of the things that we all have to kind of realize is that we're like drama queens and addicted to the adrenaline of the whole thing, you know? And one of the things that I've been doing lately is enjoying being peaceful. Like I did that peacefulness meditation the other night. And I was just like drowning. I was drowning in peacefulness, parasympathetic nervous system feelings, you know? I think that you can get addicted to that just as well as that you can get addicted to adrenaline. You know that feeling, that parasympathetic nervous system feeling that you get from the ASMR videos? That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so if I start talking like really quiet and mellow, and also see, there's so many different signs that a person is healthy. There's so many, cool. There's so many different signs that a person is healthy. Like, and And when you're doing your healing, you're going to go up and you're going to go down. You're going to go in, you're going to go out of feeling better and then feeling worse. And same mentally, exactly the same mentally. And here's one of the keys. If you make a change and you immediately notice that you feel better in the very beginning, right after you make the change, that is an amazingly good sign that whatever you did was exactly what you needed to do. Not only that, I always get a sign from God. Whenever I have an aha moment, a ding, 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 hey, that's exactly what I need to do. And then I initiate it, I get going with it, I get good signs from creation every single time. Sometimes it'll be an email with a big order for my pillows or whatever. And I'll look on the order, I'll look on the email, and it'll have the time in which that came in. And I'll recognize that that was the exact time when I engaged in that new thing that I'd figured out. And I have other things that are even more obvious that I can't tell you for different reasons, that are signs, total signs from God. You see, I think that for different reasons, including that because I've been through the ringer for so long, because I've been so dedicated to natural health, which is, it's like my religion, it's like my spirituality, it's like whatever you want to call it. It's really pure. It's really pure. You can't lie about anything. You can't lie about sexuality from a woman's perspective or from a man's perspective. You can't lie about politics from either side's perspective. You can't lie. You have to be totally, totally honest if you want to live in this world. As soon as you start getting off base with anything, you know, and it just won't work. That's why you see when I tell you that Donald Trump, he's sick. He's sick because every other thing, damn near everything that comes out of his mouth, it's sick. It's whacked. It's just out of his ego. He said about Savannah Guthrie, he said, well, she's always been nice to me. I like her because she's always been nice to me. I'll help her as much as I can because she's a really nice person. But just because a person has always been nice to you and kissed your ass all the time, I mean, he's only nice. He only likes and he's only nice to people that kiss his ass and agree with everything that he says, right? I mean, how long is that gonna last? That's just like Vladimir Putin. That's just like the mafia. That's what he is. He's always been this person that he thinks he can just buy everything with money and power, you know? It won't work. That won't work especially in a world now where cameras are everywhere. The internet is everywhere. Free speech, everyone can say what they want. Everyone can vote how they want. And everything is tightly regulated. He tried to overturn all those different states. It didn't work. They went over the votes and over them and over them and over them. And still, the counts came up the same every time. And so he gets desperate and he calls that guy in Georgia and tries to get him to give him votes. As long as a person is not, as soon as a person, like everyone's going to start to learn more and more what your interests are, it shows who you are. That's why I tell you that if you want to be healthy, you have to be simple. You have to keep things simple. I really hesitate to hire anyone because, like, if I hire someone and pay them an hourly wage, what I do is I just have a subcontractor woodworker. He has his own shop and everything, and that keeps everything simple. He makes most of my wood products. I do the finish work on them. Keeps it simple. But it's not just with business. It's like, if you don't, I really want to spend time in the garden. I really want to do that this year. If I can even just grow one, if I can even just grow one kale plant, right? In a pot. See, in my backyard, there's a bunch of railroad ties that they use to, or telephone poles, not railroad ties, telephone poles full of creosote, toxic creosote, in the back of this apartment complex that's used to hold up the wall as a retaining wall, right? It's toxic AF, and I don't know why the little birdies are even back there. I wish they weren't. But the soil, I don't trust that at all. So what I've done in the past is just grown things in pots in good soil that I bought. But you can't really buy that good of soil. You have to build soil. If you want to have good soil, it takes years to build it with compost and care, loving care, and good animal manure, etc. And so, as much as I would like to do some gardening this year, and as much as I know that it's really good for me to just get out and feel the dirt in my hands and feel the sunshine and do all the bending over that you have to do and all of that is amazingly healthy for you, stretching and strengthening your body, flexing and extending, picking the weeds, etc. It's all so good for you. It's like, it's your roots. It's where you come from. It's your ancestors. It's in your blood to garden, to grow things. And so I'm going to try and do something probably. But think about the majority of the public doesn't do anything like that. And some people are just completely consumed with making money because we live in this capitalist country. Now, I'm not gonna tell you that that's such a bad thing, that it's a capitalist country, because capitalism is the next transition from communism. And when I say communism, I mean just like the mafioso type that's in Russia, where you have a dictator, not communal. Like, the real meaning of communism, to be communal, is to live in a community. And that should be a nice thing where everyone is nice to each other and cooperative. And like in our country here, we have all kinds of intentional communities. And it's supposed to be a good thing. But in Russia, it's communism, where you have a bunch of people. As long as you have people that are weak, if you had a whole bunch of people that had, like, if everyone had their priorities in order, and they were thinking in terms of good health, that should be, as far as in many regards, your number one priority. And if everyone had that as their number one priority, and everyone were really intelligent and high IQ and physically healthy and mentally healthy, etc., the perfect world, then there wouldn't be any need for so many different things. But it's not a perfect world. And so we have this country where a lot of the people that came here have genes. They're genetically inclined towards wanting to make a lot of money. And that's the right. That's not necessarily the right, but the business owners or the CEOs, the managers, the people that have 40%, they say, of the money, 40% of the control, the top 2 or 3% or something. And then you have another small percentage of people that have a degree of power and money. And then the majority of people are followers. Still, even in our country, the majority of people are followers. Okay? But they're followers that have had a degree of freedom. Look in Russia. You've got a lot of people there that just allow their government to rule them. They just allow it. And some people do okay with that and benefit from it, but a lot of people don't. But there's nothing they can do about it. It's a dictatorship. How many of you think that there's any way in hell that something like what Donald Trump is trying to do, even if his intentions are sort of a little bit good, we have such an angst against the kings, the dictators. We have being told what to do. Even people that are followers here don't like to be told what to do. They refuse. Okay. and we live in a country, unlike other countries, where anyone can own guns. Anyone. And we live pretty good here. Most people live, even with all of the inflation and the high rent and mortgage costs, etc., compared to a lot of countries, we have a lot of benefits here. And people don't want to give that up. So if you think about it with your mind, if you think about it and you have any kind of a half decent intuition, you know that there's no way in hell that this little surge of whatever you want to call it, Trump and his organization, his goons, that what they're doing, especially with him at the helm, and he's not very intelligent, especially like I said, he's just not thinking right now. It's a perfect example for everyone to know what we don't want. And the good part of it is that it gets people involved. If you don't get involved, if you don't do something, at least vote, then this is what can happen. Okay? And if you allow the government, if you allow the left to get out of control, and as one example, allow millions and millions and millions of excess immigrants to cross the border and just flood the sanctuary cities. If you allow that to happen, what's going to happen? So I got a feeling that in the future, that border is going to be tight as a drum, no matter who is the president. Okay? And the reason is because people don't want to go through this again. You know, the federal judge allowed ICE to stay in Minneapolis. They're staying. So even though they forced them to put the cameras on their vests so that Trump can watch the footage. like the media is going to get to see any of that ever, you know. But thank God that somebody is getting proactive anyway, right or wrong or whatever. We're not going to give up our freedoms. If they get too out of hand, and the left will get out of hand too. And nobody wants to see it go to fisticuffs. Nobody wants to see it become a civil war. But it could, if it just keeps getting more polarity, more and more fight from each side. It can get worse and worse. And how far will the Republicans allow Trump to go? As soon as a lot of them are going to get ousted in the midterms or in 2028, as soon as it looks like people are so fed up with the Trump administration that they're willing to switch. They're just, they can't stand it anymore. Even people in the middle leaning right can't stand him anymore, and they're gonna actually vote for Democrats. That is when they will actually change. But all this has to be a huge lesson. And what does it do? It forces everyone to come to center. See, it's not difficult. If you have a degree of spirituality, if you've lived on this earth for a little while, and you see how everything revolves around yin and yang, just like the Chinese, just like the Buddha said, everything is yin and yang, opposites. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it opposites. You can call it polarity. You can call it yin and yang, male and female, Republican, Democrat, hot and cold. Everything is opposites, right? So where is God? Is God's entity, is creation's entity far to the right or far to the left? So I hate to tell those of you that are watching this that are far to the left or far to the right, if you can't see, if you can't find a compromise because you're an extremist, you're not very close to God. I hate to tell you, if you're a logical person, even if you don't believe in God, perhaps you can at least believe in aliens that brought us here as eggs and brought all the seeds here as eggs in a spaceship. Whatever. You have to see that everything is gradually moving to the center. And things that can if a person can compromise, then they won't have war. If they can negotiate, then they can possibly get past some kind of a dispute. But those people that can't negotiate, if they have to have war, well, they might die in that war. So that's what I mean. Now, I'm not saying that you should always compensate. Sometimes you have to just give it time. That's what we're in this place right now, where you have to find things to do that benefit you. Find things to do that benefit yourself. And give all of this time. Because just like in 1973, when the United States said, F it, we're going to pull out of Vietnam. And then everything calmed down. Eventually, Russia's going to do the same thing. They're going to probably take the eastern side of Ukraine. But who knows? Maybe they'll collapse. You never know what's going to happen. All kinds of different things can happen. But Russia is an old country with a lot of stuck people. Older people are stuck in their minds still, even after all of this. The time, if you're looking for the demise of Russia, time is your friend. Because the more thousands every day, 1,000 dies, 1,000 dies, 1,000 dies. And the more they hear about it back home in their towns or small towns, the more the minds are gradually changing over time. And so many things in our country with this whole blah-de-da on both sides. All of this stuff that Trump is doing, some of it has a little bit of value. See, even if you totally don't agree with him capturing Maduro, it creates change. It's Pluto. Pluto creates change. And it's gone into Aquarius now. And so things have to change. And even if you think a lot of his stuff like Trump Gaza, it's comedic. It's comedic. What's the purpose of that? There are a lot of people out there, not a lot of people, there's a small percentage of people that actually have insane egos like that. And those people need to see that giant golden statue and think and ask themselves, well, like, is it cool? Is it acceptable to be this egotistical? Millions of people, millions of money driven and power driven people need to see that kind of activity and ask themselves, is this acceptable or not? And it's so comedic and ridiculous that hopefully they come to the conclusion that it's not. It's just basically unacceptable to invade Greenland and take it over, especially since it makes no financial sense. It doesn't make any sense in any regard other than Trump's ego. If we want more bases there, we can just go there. They'll give us as much access as we want. We don't have to spend $700 billion to buy Greenland. He'd probably do it and then he'd not make the payments. That's probably what he's wanting to do. Because he's dishonest. He was probably just, and the main thing was just so that he can say, I did this or I did that. The other day, I asked AI, did he really stop 8 wars? And it told me the 8 wars that he supposedly thinks that he stopped, and none of it held water. Only a few of them held a little bit of water. But as we all know, he makes claims constantly. Bullshit claims. And only the lowest of IQ people actually should, at this point in our understanding, our listening to Donald Trump, only the lowest of IQ people, like probably, I don't know, below 80 is really not very intelligent, right? Probably those people are actually buying, still not disagreeing with anything that he says like that. They're just with him no matter what, right? But and so if he's that stupid and his followers are that goony, like there's just it's really dumb to worry about any of that, because like the entertainment industry is generally, a lot of those people are pretty smart, you know, and they eat him alive every day, every single day. And he only has one channel, Fox. And even Fox, a lot of the time now, even they are disclaiming things that he's saying. They have to work really hard. They have to work really hard to be on his side anymore. But in any case, I've kind of gotten off track with him. I guess I've probably felt more empathy. I don't know. I felt empathy for a lot of things. It helps me to talk about stuff that's kind of funny. And so, Christy, you were asking what I do to offset something like that. That's for me, because I have Leo rising and Mercury and Venus in Leo, both at exactly 3 degrees right together. Humor, comedy has one of the things I've been doing lately is watching farting videos from Humor Bagel. Do you guys ever watch that guy, Humor Bagel? All he does is farting videos. That's it. I don't think he. Yeah, oh yeah, and of course that. I love animal videos, but I also have been watching the farting videos. Yeah, well, he lives in New York, and he goes into Central Park, and I don't think he's doing it now. I haven't seen him doing it now, but he has one of those Tudor toys. You squeeze it and it makes a farting sound, and they're really hard to make a farting sound. I actually bought one on Amazon, and I could not get good at doing it, but he's really good at doing it. And he keeps it in his pocket, with his hand in his pocket, and he lifts one leg up and makes a farting sound. He'll walk right in front of people. You got to watch his videos. It's so funny. And he gets really creative. He was standing in front of the duck pond. He was standing in front of the duck pond, and he goes, there's some people standing next to him, and he goes, here, ducky, 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 ducky. And he goes like this. He goes, like, he'll do that, and he'll lift his leg, and he'll do jumping farts too. He does jumping farts, and he does things where he falls over these little guardrail fences and rolls on his back and does a fart. And then he also does coughing farts, as though he's trying to hide the sound of the fart. So he'll go and I've been watching. I like to watch babe videos sometimes, hot girls on Facebook dancing. And I've been thinking to myself, because I used to like to really do a lot of aerobics. And I was thinking that would be fun to do this. Have you guys seen these dance videos where everyone? Yeah. So have you seen these videos, these dance videos, mostly on Facebook, I think, but also probably TikTok and YouTube? I don't watch TikTok, but people do exercise dancing. Have you seen that? Well, I'm sure that they have that in Asheville. And I think it'd be a really good exercise and fun, and I'm sure that there would be a lot of cute girls there. As far as the meeting cute girls goes, I've got to keep doing this healing. See, my extremities are still cleansing all of this crap out of them. The good news is that my feet are looking really pretty good now. They're getting decent color in them. My hands are starting to get the peach color in them instead of the red and wrinkly. My face is getting better and getting a lot of the infection out of it and wrinkles. That's getting better. And it's just a matter of eating more and more vegetables. I know I keep saying this, but that's how it is. You have to keep refining and see, because the thing is that most people eat too much protein, too much carbs. They don't absorb near as much nutrients as they need to be because their digestive systems are still clogged with dairy and gluten, etc. But see, I got rid of all of that a long time ago, and now I'm down to extremities. That's kind of one of the latter things, after you've cleaned your digestive system out mostly so that you can absorb nutrients. That's the most important thing. That was, for me anyway, the most important thing I get going with. So it's just been a series of cleansing different parts of the body, healing different parts of the body over time. And now I'm down to these extremities. But the thing is, the extremities, your face is part of that. It shows your health. And until you get like my lip totally healed, this is the first part of your digestive system. Your anus is the last. And until all of this looks really healthy and younger, then I can't meet younger people. And I don't really feel like meeting older people because older women are fat and unattractive and not into natural health. And I know that some people probably don't want to hear that because they are fat and unattractive, but I'm just telling you what my thoughts and needs and desires are. So, especially nowadays, okay, I see women that are half my age that I have no desire for. Zero. 30, and they're fat and they have a lot of excess matter on their bodies. And for me, I see my digestive system continuing to just shrink and the fat around my belly continue to melt away. And all that excess skin has to go away too. It's not just the excess skin on the belly. See that? That and the bulge right there, all of that has to go away. All that skin's got to go away. And I'm still in the thick of it. I'm still in the thick of it. And as much as I would like to be all healed, it doesn't happen overnight. Gradually eating more vegetables and eating less carbs and refining everything to eat more vegan, more and more vegan. It happens over time. And there's been a few people, I'm sure, that you can give an example to that did all of that in 5 years or something, 10 years. I'm not one of those. It's taken me a long ass time to get healthy. But I have learned so much. And yeah. Or when he stares at people while doing it. Doing what? His videos make me laugh too. Oh yeah. Yeah, what is it called? Farting with, I don't know. He has so many videos and it's really funny. But I've been not watching anything that's like disturbing. Anything disturbing, I just exit stage left. I don't want to see anything that is bothersome. And what else? I've been continuing the more money I make, the more I donate to charities, mostly animal charities, but also people I care about on Patreon. There's a guy in Russia that is an amazing human being. Have you guys ever seen, what is his YouTube channel? His name is Sergey Vasa in the Hay. Okay. So if you want to see an amazing person in Russia helping people like you would not believe, these people that he helps in Russia, the houses that they live in, I don't know how they can even survive. Some of these houses and some of these people, they make our poor people look like nothing. They make poor people in Africa and other places look like wealthy, rich people. And it's just so hard there because it's so cold and because so many people are so poor, and there's just not a lot of opportunity for people, even if they want to step up. So this guy named Sergey that has the channel Vasa in the Hay, I don't know what that means. He grew up a gymnast. He has really good genes, kind of like Kaylin I was telling you about, that I also support on Patreon. But he was a stuntman in movies. He's a really good-looking guy, And before that, he was a gymnast. And to what extent he was a gymnast, I'm not sure if he was an Olympic gymnast or what, but he can do the full-on flips, all of that stuff. I don't know if he does rings. I don't know if he does the vaults. I don't know. He does a lot of those different things. And then he became a stuntman. And then he got out of that. I watched the video, and he showed all this different old coverage, old footage from his life. And now, and you can tell by looking, okay, so you can tell a lot about a person by their face. You look at their eyes. People know without learning about anything regarding macrobiotics and the study of the eyes, the study of the cheeks, the study of the nose, the study of the lips, etc. You can tell if a person is really, really well balanced. One of the ways, by their eyebrows. If they have eyebrows that slant down like that, that's anger. If they have eyebrows that slant this way, more so, then that's more compassionate. But if you have a person that has eyebrows that look like Paul McCartney's, very perfectly round over the top, evenly round, not slanting too much like this, not angled too down like that. That is a balanced, more balanced person. Sergey has that, one of the things that he has. And you can just tell, you look at his skin, you look at his facial features, he's a really attractive looking person. And he has a degree of compassion for these people, and he goes out and he finds them and he gives them food. He gave one woman a log chopping machine and wood, a couple of cords of wood so she can keep her house warm. He's trying to help this little girl to get an operation on her nose that's deformed. He's doing every week, he's doing all kinds of things for these people that are just in horrid, horrid conditions. Sorry. It's really horrible. It's horrible to see it. So I'm supporting him on Patreon too. And I have other ones that I give to every month. The Orangutan Project is really awesome. I give to Pause. It gives me such joy to give to charities. And sometimes I just wish that I could get this person that I know. I know this woman. I think I told you about her. Her family we were friends, sort of. And I still think that we are. We're not talking now, though. But her family was one of the original Coca-Cola bottling plant people, owners, franchises, right? And she inherited millions and millions of dollars. She invests in probably a bunch of crap. That's what she's into, investing in things online. I wish I could get her to invest in some of these things that at least I think they matter. And if you're somebody that's been thinking about donating to something, I'll tell you what happened to me a long time ago. I went to this church in Asheville one Sunday morning, a New Agey church. And there was this woman that was visiting there, a visiting speaker. And she said, and at first I thought that she was just trying to get people to give her money, right? But regardless of what her intentions were, what she said was that what you should do is give to things that make you feel good. You should give your time or money to things that make you feel good. And that hit home with me because I was like, well, feelings are really important, right? Especially for me, I'm a Cancer. We're all about feelings. And so I just started, at that time, I started giving to charities that I liked, things that I thought were worthy or things that I really cared about, you know? And also, I would tell people to not donate to things that I don't think should be given to the medical industry. And you know, people can do what they want to, but if you give to things that make you feel really good for whatever reason, I think that you benefit from that. And I just think it's a good thing. Anyways, I guess that's all I really want to say tonight. Someone donated $10 there. Thanks, Tamara. So I really appreciate you guys, and I hope that you're doing well. Remember, all of this stuff is going to gradually diminish. People are going to get tired. They're just going to get, say, if anything, people are going to get worn out from all of it. And they'll, doesn't matter, eventually, doesn't matter what it is, whether it be Gaza or whether it be Iran or whether it be here in the US with ICE or whatever it is, eventually people are just going to get worn out or killed killed or something, tired of the polarity. And eventually the extreme pinging back and forth, fighting, the pepper spray, the killing, it'll all wear out gradually. And when the smoke clears, hopefully you are still here with me. and we can breathe. We can breathe in a new world where people are more sane than they were before. Thanks for joining me.